Hi everybody and welcome back to another Legends of Runeterra video and gameplay. Today I have a deck concept called Ionian Steel. This is featuring the champions Shen and Garen. Because we're running Shen in this deck, we have a ton of barrier options that are granted by both units and spells in this deck, as well as kind of another interesting combination of units. What I mean by that is that we're running a full set of the Navori Conspirator, who, when you play it, you recall an ally. So in order to play him, you have to recall an ally. And so along with him, we have a lot of units that have either play or summon abilities that we can be using to double dip into those abilities. So I have a rarely used card, Scales of the Dragon, who, when you summon him, you create a Dragon's Protection in hand. This card is not used hardly ever, and there's a reason for that. He produces a slow spell as grant an ally +0/+3 health. They're just better options. Just a lot of people don't like his stat line. He's kind of easy to take out, and you can easily interrupt Dragon's Protection when you're trying to use it. One of the many reasons why he's not used very much. So to kind of get around this, what we're doing is producing these barrier units who can protect your other units. They can still be interrupted with Will of Ionia and denies and things like that, but it grants them protection from damaging spells so that you're able to get his Dragon's Protection onto a unit at least. So he works well in a deck that you can protect your units in. And because we have so many barriers, that's generally not hard to do, and we can use those barriers as well to level up Shen. So it works well on in multiple ways. Now, some other cards that we're running in this deck, like I said, are cards with play and summon abilities. So Laurent Duelist, who will give a ally challenger this round, which works again well with Shen and the barriers. We're also running a full set of Shadow Assassin for card draw, and we're running 2 Green Fang Wardens and 3 Bright Steel Protectors, both of which you can either grant, well, the Green Fang Warden comes out with Barrier, and Bright Steel Protector grants a unit Barrier. Once again, helping Shen. We're also running 2 Recall. Again, this is kind of a secondary Navori Conspirator, where we can recall an ally. It can be used to protect our own units if they're targeted, and then resummon them to get those abilities off again. We're running a full set of Green Glade Caretaker. She, along with Shen and Garen, are kind of our in-game finishers. Once Green Glade Caretaker has the ability to take out the enemy Nexus after having been granted so much extra attack from all the barriers that we're getting, we can also play the Dragon's Protection on her, which gives her more health and just allows her to be a little bit more sustained throughout the game and easier to protect. And yeah, like I said, Garen for late game, once he's leveled up, we can use him to rally. We're also running, for the sake of Garen, 2 single combats, which help him level up a little faster in case we need to finish off the game. Some spells that we're running, the standard Ionian spells, we're running 1 Concussive Palm, 1 Deny, 3 Spirit's Refuge, 2 Will of Ionia, and 2 Stand United. All these cards work well in controlling the enemy. It also helps protect our units. So that's a pretty quick look at this deck. It is pretty fun. There are definitely some weaknesses still in this sort of concept. When you play Shen, usually Shen isn't the main champion, which is kind of what he is forced to be in this type of concept. And you have other late game finishers like Lux or Fiora, which are typical champions or Quinn, typical champions that are played in the Shen deck that have kind of late game finishing abilities, which we don't really have, besides a little bit of Garen and Rally. But yeah, that's about it. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks. Alright, so we're facing a Yasuo, Darius, and Zed. Probably not the most efficient deck, but we'll see. Let's see what our opening hand is. We've got Will of Ionia, Green Fang Warden Deny, and Scales of the Dragon. I am okay with all these cards, really. The 3 mana unit drops are pretty good in case I don't draw a 1 or 2 mana unit. And I like denying Will of Ionia in this matchup. It allows me to get rid of Darius or Yasuo if I need to, and kind of slow down my opponent. So I'm going to keep that. I draw Laurent the Duelist here. You do kind of want to see Green Glade Caretakers early on, but we're not getting that. We're getting all of our 3 mana units here, which is okay because this gives us a pretty good mid game here. Right, we're going to let him do the open attack. He only can do 1 damage with it. He doesn't have the ability to recall or stun any of our units, giving him an attack boost, so we're okay with taking the 1 damage hit here. He ends up playing his own Shadow Assassin after I play mine. I played it just to get some more card draw and get some more units that I can play. And end up drawing a recall here, which is pretty nice considering all of these play and summon ability units that I have, so I can use that pretty efficiently here. Alright, we're going to do kind of a combo here. And just thinking about it, we're going to use the Key Guardian on the Scales of the Dragon, which is really nice. It gives us enough mana to use Dragon's Protection if we play him. We end up drawing the Green Glade Caretaker though, so we're going to play her first, and then play the Scales of the Dragon and give her a little bit of a attack boost. So that worked out really well. And we also have a Green Fang Warden in hand, which is nice, and is going to buff up our Green Glade Caretaker a little bit as well. So he has Concussive Palm here. I don't want him really to use that. We are kind of delving into a lot of our mana here, but we're going to recall and deny him the Tails of the Dragon here, because we don't want him to have an extra unit on the board. That's nice. We kind of won that trade, and we're going to place down our Green Glade Warden here. This is going to dissuade him from attacking, and also from blocking, because I have a barrier, and it's going to give me 2 attacks as well, so I might be able to take out the Shadow Assassin. Alright, he ends up having Guile. That kind of sucks, but again, I'm okay getting his stun abilities out of him early in case he has a Yasuo and is able to use more of these stun abilities after Yasuo's on the board and damaging my units. So we're okay with having him use that early. It does buff his unit a little bit, but there's not much we can do about that. Now I need to decide if I want to attack with my Green Glade Caretaker here. I decide not to. He could just trade a Shadow Assassin into it, and I'm kind of wanting to play the long game with her and get her buffed up enough and be able to finish off the game with a Stand United or something, especially since I have a Stand United in hand already. Okay, we're going to put Barrier again on our Green Glade Caretaker here. I'm trying to dissuade an attack with his quick attack units and take them out. He ends up having an Arachnoid Sentry. Again, he's using a stun ability on me, which is kind of annoying, but once again, his Yasuo isn't out and isn't damaging us. So, given the choice, I would rather have him use the stun abilities before Yasuo is on the board. Okay, so we've got another barriered unit. I'm surprised he attacked here with all of his units, but I'm able to take some of them out. Taking some damage along the way, that's okay here. We have a lot more cards in hand and an additional unit on our board, which is giving us some protection here. Alright, we're going to attack with the Green Fang here. Lots of greens. Hard to keep track of them all. Okay, he doesn't block into that. We had a backup Spear's Refuge in case he did decide to attack with that, which would have healed me as well as do some damage or kill his unit. Okay, he's got another Arachnoid Sentry here. He uses my Green Glade Caretaker. He doesn't want me to attack with that, which is what I was planning on doing because once again I have the
Spirit's Refuge, so I would have been able to protect her and also give her a boost of attack damage here. I'm worried he might have a Ravenous Flock in his deck here, so I am wary to commit too much mana here with a unit. I wouldn't be able to protect my Greenglade Caretaker with a Spirit's Refuge or with a Deny, so I opt to use the Dragon's Protection. But I'm in kind of an awkward spot because I want to put it on the Greenglade Caretaker, but she's not attacking this round because she's stunned. But I want to use it on her. So I guess I gotta consider all of my options here and kind of decide what I want to do. I end up putting on the Greenglade Caretaker because that seems like the best long-term option that I could use, and it still gives me enough mana to use Deny or Spirit's Refuge. Now I need to think if I want to actually attack here and commit to the attack and also commit to using the Spirit's Refuge on the attack. My Greenglade Caretaker is at least protected from a Ravenous Flock now. He can't outright kill it unless he's got two of them in hand. So I consider using Laurent Duelist here just to get rid of his quick attack unit, which I ended up doing. It'd be nice to get rid of that. It's representing quite a bit of damage here, and it's got 3 health. So I'm going to commit to taking that out this round. He ends up having another Arachnoid Sentry, which he was saving. I get him to play it. Once again, that's kind of nice to get that out of him pretty early, and I'm just going to attack here with Laurent Duelist. I don't really have a need to attack with any of my other units. I can use them more efficiently. Whereas Laurent Duelist is pretty much capped out on his usefulness, and I can use him to take out somebody at least. He blocks with his elusive unit, which I'm fine with. Kind of surprised, to be honest, but I'm okay with him attacking with his, or defending with his elusive, just so I can get rid of that. Don't have to worry about extra damage. Alright, he does an open attack here without developing. I'm once again okay with that because I've got ways to protect my units like Stand United, Recall, Deny, Spirit's Refuge, which I'm going to use now. I'm not going to block into the Arachnoid Sentries. My main priority here is to take out his most dangerous unit. And we've got backup Deny. I don't want him summoning another unit. I also want to kill this. And he doesn't have enough mana to respond with his own Deny, which is really nice. He could have a Recall. Looks like he's got a Key Guardian here. He may have a Recall in hand that he was fishing for. He didn't get it, and I'm able to take out his unit. Which is nice, because now there's only one more that he can have in his deck. That poses a pretty good threat to me, and he's used a ton of his stunning abilities, units, and spells already. Alright, we still have some ways to protect our units here. With Wheel of Ionia, Twin Disciplines, and Stand United, so I have some mana I can work with here. I use the Shadow Assassin to get card draw. I'm happy with the Shen draw, and I got a champion finally that I can play. He ends up stunning my Greenglade Caretaker again, which sucks because I did want to play Shen and use her to get a massive attack off and threaten a lot. Well, not much I can do about that. We're going to I think about playing Shen here, but that leaves me kind of with no mana. And I want to have enough mana to protect my units. He's got 8 mana left, but only 3 cards, so it does kind of limit his options, but I still want to play careful here. I have the advantage, and I don't want to get rid of it by doing something stupid. So we're just going to do a small attack here with our Shadow Assassin, get some guaranteed damage off, also fish for some stun abilities. in case he has them. And he plays his Legion General. Pretty scary unit. But he's dipped under the threshold of mana that is scaring me, so I play my Shen. I don't think he can really do anything to bother me too much here. We know that he used Key Guardian on a card and a unit that he hasn't played yet, so just keep that in mind. He does have another unit in hand, so we know he's got one unit, and the most spells that he can have are 2. I'm going to use Stand United this round, most likely. Oh, but he doesn't use any spells to protect his units, which was kind of a mistake on my part. I knew he didn't have a lot of cards in hand, so he probably didn't have a lot of playmaking potential, so I might should have used Stand United there. It's also not the worst thing in the world because I can use Stand United on a later round to get a massive hit off by freeing up my Greenglade Caretaker from a blocking unit. So not the worst thing. I use the Nefori Conspirator here to heal Shen. He hadn't gotten any level up abilities with Barrier, so there wasn't a lot to really worry about. No downside to taking Shen out and then replaying him. Alright, there's his Barrier unit, which is kind of annoying. I did spend quite a bit of mana to get Shen out and then Nefori Conspirator. And he recalls all my units, but my Shadow Assassin. Is it Mina Swiftfoot is her name or something like that? So we take out our Shadow Assassin just to get some extra card draw next round. It's our turn to attack and to be the aggressor. We have plenty of spells here that give us a lot of utility to take out his units potentially, and we end up drawing our Concussive Palm, which is going to come in handy. I consider recalling his Reckoner here. I decide not to. Think about playing Garen. Don't really want to do that either. I might should have just done the recall. I end up playing Shen here because this gives me enough mana to use another spell. And we're going to do a full attack here with all of our units. We have ways to protect them. So not really a huge downside to that. We are going to have to commit to the possibility that Shen could die here. But we have ways to stop that. Concussive Palm seems good here. There's a possibility that he drew a Deny and is holding on to a Deny. That would really suck. But he's got only 2 cards left in hand. And we end up using the Concussive Palm successfully. I could have been really bad, but I didn't have much of a choice there. I needed to be kind of aggressive because we need to finish up the game pretty soon. He can draw a Yasuo at any point and have a Intimidating Roar and do a complete board wipe. So I just need to kind of focus on finishing the game here. It's getting kind of late. Alright, now we're going to use Stand United and we are going to get rid of his Minotaur Reckoner. It's kind of an annoying card. We have to use our Tail of the Dragon to block into the Legion General. I don't want to block with Shen and kill him accidentally, so we're going to be getting rid of the Minotaur Reckoner, which is really good. That's going to put a lot of pressure on him now because he doesn't have a way to really control our units each round. And we have a lot more cards than he does. And we still have our Will of Ionia in hand, which is going to be really nice. It's going to be because he doesn't have a lot of low mana cost units. It's going to be a really big investment for him to replay them after I Will of Ionia his units. He uses Ravenous Flock on my Nefori Conspirator here. I need to decide if I want to save him, if it's worth the effort to save him with Twin Disciplines. Probably isn't, because I can use a Twin Disciplines on my Shadow Assassin or another unit to either protect it or deal more damage to the Nexus. So I end up letting the Navori Conspirator die, and I'm going to play Shadow Assassin here. We're representing now quite a bit of elusive damage that he's not going to be able to deal with. And he plays Darius, which I'm okay with. He hasn't done enough damage to level up Darius yet. And like I said, I have the Will of Ionia that I can use on him if I need to. There is a consideration to open attack here. So I'm thinking about that or developing. He could have an intimidating roar, which would completely undermine my attack, and it would be really hard to come back from that. So I'm worried about that. I decided to level up Shen with the Green Fang Warden and kind of wait for him to do what he wants. It doesn't commit a ton of mana and allows me some playmaking still. Once again, we're kind of the aggressors. We're in the position to win, so we can take the time that we need. He ends up stunning my Green Fang Warden here. Kind of an interesting choice, but I guess he didn't want to deal with the barrier. And not much I can do about that. Just let it go through. And we play another Shadow Assassin here. So we've got 6 damage represented with the Shadow Assassin, so it's possible for us to win here.
I will play my part.
I probably should have attacked instead with the Greenglade Caretaker being barriered by Shen, but I wanted to save some extra mana for my spells if I needed it. He ends up having one last stun ability, so I'm not quite able to finish off the game yet. But I am also at the same time able to protect Shen here with the mana that I have left over. Again, I don't commit too much, but at this point I can't quite win this round. Probably should have attacked with the Greenglade Caretaker, but what can you do? I guess play better before it happens. Okay, we're going to end the round here. We've got plenty of units to block into and win the game coming up here. Definitely was a way to win that last round, but we're in a good spot. He's got 2 cards left and only 1 card in hand. Not much he can do. And we have a Will of Ionia. So we drew Yone. Kind of surprised that he used the stun on the Shadow Assassin. He should have used it on Shen so that I couldn't block into his Legion General. I ended up having Will of Ionia for him anyway, so we can get rid of him. I've got 2 Garens in hand, which is nice, because 1 is expendable. I end up replacing my Green Fang Warden here, just because my elusive units are representing lethal damage, and this is going to allow me to block Darius and kill him if he attacks with Darius, which he does. And I'm going to block with Shen as well. I know, unless he gets something crazy next round, if I kill Yone here, there's not really a chance he has to win. So I'm going to kill Yone with Shen. He can't play his Legion General this round because he doesn't have enough mana. We're going to swing with an open attack here and hopefully win the game. There's nothing that I foresee that he can be doing here, or planning about doing, so we end up winning the game. Yeah, kind of a long gameplay. It really did showcase a lot of the units and their abilities though, so I'm happy about that. Once again, probably could have won the round before, but ended up winning in the long run, so you should try this deck. It's